The market's uncertain, revenue's tight, and hiring on hold. That's why results-driven companies are using Upwork to keep work moving. Go to Upwork.com today and start hiring proven freelance talent fast. No bulky overhead. No rigid long-term contracts. Just the right expert right when you need them. Work smarter and faster with Upwork. Go to Upwork.com now and find your freelance expert. That's UPWORK.com. Post a job for free and get started today.
If you're a Chicago business looking to give back locally, Gardeneers is your kind of nonprofit. We work in under-resourced schools across the South and West Sides, helping students grow fresh food and learn about health, sustainability, and equity. Your corporate sponsorship supports hands-on education, youth mentorship, and the transformation of school gardens into vibrant green spaces. Learn more about sponsorship opportunities at gardeneers.org and let's grow something together.
If your vans are rockin', don't come a-knockin'.
Eavesdroppin.
Well, howdy doody, Michelle. Look at you, gorgeous lady.
Oh, thanks. It's because I've got new hair straighteners. For our male listeners, you won't give a shit that I've got new hair straighteners. GHDs, no less.
Some men straighten their hair, Michelle. How very dare you?
It's true, actually.
Yes.
I do know some men, they also have a better cleansing regime than I do.
Absolutely. And all the aesthetics.
Yes, there's a lot of male aesthetician type procedures now.
Back, crack and wax.
No, I'm talking about you can have abs inserted.
Oh, God.
Instead of having like a boob job, you can get an ab job.
Oh, no.
Geordie, what the hell am I talking about? Let's introduce ourselves.
Oh, yes. Okay, let's... Oh, actually, I was quite interested in where that was going. But yeah, I'm Geordie. Hello. I'm one half of this comedy podcast, which is also storytelling, sometimes a bit gruesome, real life, true crime, etc.
Real life as well. And I'm Michelle.
I did say that, didn't I?
Did you say real life?
I think I did. I didn't say supernatural.
Oh, supernatural.
I said etc.
Etc. Etc. I'm Michelle, and you're listening, like she said, Eavesdroppin, the comedy podcast. And that makes you an eavesdropper, and we welcome you.
Yes. It's the only time that you'll be allowed. Not the only time. Every bloody week, because we are out weekly. But you are allowed to listen in. We won't yell at you. We might yell, but it won't be at you. It'll be with you.
Yes.
Yelling with, not at.
And we want you to tell your friends to eavesdrop on us also, because why the bloody hell
Don't
not?
keep it to yourself, you selfish people.
Spread the
Don't
love.
keep it to yourself. Share it.
Spread it.
Yeah.
Give it a spready.
Spread it. Chuck a spready.
Chuck an eavesdrop and spready. Bloody hell.
Go on the apples and write your reviews. We've asked you to do this before. We've also got a Patreon. We've said that before as well. Patron.
A Patreon,
Patreon,
which makes you
which
a
is
patron.
Patron. Thank you to the patrons who support us. They are helping us to produce this every week. Every week. We've never missed a week, except for the ones where we've done mashups. And even then we do an intro.
Because we do work bloody hard for this podcast at great personal sacrifice. Every now and again.
Yes.
Every now and again.
Say no more. Say no more, Michelle. The others don't need to know our domestic troubles.
God. But there's a lot on the agenda.
A lot on the line here. There's a lot on the line for us.
I will say, did you even look at the Patreon from...
I did.
What did you think?
I was trying to find television recs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I couldn't find them, but then I did find them.
Yes.
Because I've got some more to put on today, but we'll get to that in a moment. What were you going to ask me?
What did you think of that bloody gorgeous Jeff Buckley and Liz Fraser song?
I didn't see that.
I thought you said you were on the Patreon.
I did.
What a
I
bitch.
did. I'm sorry, I'll have to have another look. But what else is on the Patreon, apart from lovely things to look at, including pictures of us, is an interview with the author, Kathy Cassidy. And actually, I was thinking I might put a little bit of it in here now, just so you know what you're missing.
And just to recap for anyone who doesn't know, there's the series of the Chocolate Box Girls.
Box Girls.
And Daisy Star is a series as well.
Daisy Star is a slightly younger series. There's a series called The Lost and Found, and then there's a load of standalone books. So, Kathy Cassidy books kind of their own kind of stamp, their own imprint, friendship and family and, just support and caring about each other.
That's beautiful. And I always feel, because I know you, and I always feel that there's a bit of an alternative edge to the names and the type of girl that your protagonist usually is. Would that be right in saying that?
I think that's right. I've never been the popular girl or the one, when I was that age, I was kind of always on the edge of things. And I liked that in a way because you could see quite clearly what was going on. So when I became, when I started to write for young people as a novelist, as a children's author, those were the kids that interested me, and those were the characters and the stories that interested me. And I love that connection is you're kind of communicating with those kids who are on the edge of things, who are a little bit different, a little bit alternative in whatever way. And I love that those people can see themselves in a story suddenly, and know that they're not that weird or not that strange, or even if they are, that it's okay.
I love that, because as I was growing up, I always felt like a bit of a misfit as well. So that sort of book, rather than the American style fodder that I was exposed to, would probably have spoken more to me and made me feel a bit like it's okay to be that odd bod.
So if you want to know more, you've got to go over, you've got to buy us a coffee, and in turn, I'll buy Kathy a coffee next time I see her. Or a herbal tea. I think she's more of a herbal tea kind of lady.
Yes.
She's an author of children's and tweens books, by the way. If you haven't heard of her, your children probably know of her.
Yes.
Or maybe you, if you're a millennial.
Yes.
Millennial.
No, she's absolutely wonderful. And I thought the video interview you did with her was fabulous.
Thanks. And thanks to Kathy, of course.
Of course.
Michelle, what have you been doing this week?
Oh, God. What have I been doing this week?
Apart from straightening your damn hair to a crisp.
Well, lamenting the fact that it's already fucking snowing.
Oh.
Yeah. What happened to the sun? What happened to the
Gone.
sun? It's gone.
Oh.
Gone too soon. That's for bloody sure. What have you been doing?
I've been doing a little bit of it's not spring cleaning, is it? It's more of autumn or fall
I've been
cleaning.
doing that too, actually.
Yes.
Yes. Toilets and whatnot.
Decluttering.
Yes.
Oh. Have you been decluttering your toilet?
Oh, God. That just sounds so
the
grim.
imagery that just came into my head.
Oh,
it's terrible. No, I was decluttering my bedroom, actually, making it into a haven.
Did you find the pink candle?
No, I didn't find that, but I did find the little picture of the old people that I said I'd lost,
Right.
that Tim, the Magic Music Man, had given me. I've got that back.
Thank God.
Found it.
Yes.
I found a few other things as well that I thought I'd lost. So really, there's no ghosts. It's fine.
Okay.
There's no ghosts in my bedroom, just a very, very muddled, messy room. But while I was doing it, I was listening to some music and I had a bit of a nostalgia trip. You know, when you have that
Yes.
music kind of like, yeah. I kind of got onto a bit of a Liverpool musician thing. Not the Beatles, but things like, I started with Echo and the Bunnymen.
Okay.
Then I moved through to Prefab Sprout. God, they are such a fantastic band, but they do have some stinkers. For every golden song, they have a stinker.
Yes, I'm a little bit up and down about Prefab Sprout. What's your favourite track?
Well, I've just discovered one called Bonnie on Steve McQueen, the album Steve McQueen, and it's so good. It's in my head constantly at the moment.
Really?
I didn't know it before.
Well, do you know what? I had an earworm just recently with Pink Pony Club. Couldn't get it out of my head.
Oh, that one. That's one of my Aqua songs. So I do, yeah,
Okay.
that gets in my head an awful lot. But then I went from Prefab Sprout. And the reason why I listened to these guys is because somebody at work, the young person at work, the young musician, hipster at work, was listening to them.
Oh.
Turns out I've got the same musical taste as his mother.
Oh, right. See, it gets passed down the line.
But anyway, I went from that to Icicle Works. And if you don't know who they are, you should check them out. There's one album and it's got Whisper to a Scream on it. And I don't know what the album's called. It's got lots of wood on the front of it. It was one of my albums when I was about 15,
Right.
14, 15. Loved it.
Right.
Every song's brilliant.
Well, I just went down the old Jeff Buckley nostalgia trip. It's 3
I
episodes
listened to a bit
now.
of Jeff.
3 episodes now that I've
What?
talked about Jeff bloody Buckley.
Oh, I see. I thought there was 3 episodes of the Jeff Buckley documentary, which I haven't seen yet.
No, just one. No, I kept listening and then I found that gorgeous song with Elizabeth Fraser and him. It's a demo and,
They dated.
well, it feels like you are listening to their love affair. It
Oh, wow.
feels a little personal. Although controversial, he outsings her in that. I know it's a demo and she would have been incredible
Oh, wow.
because I absolutely love her. I think she's amazing. But he outsings her on that. He is heavenly, like an angel.
Another one gone too soon.
Very gone too soon.
Well, I have a little news, just a little bit of news, moving on. Former stand-in co-host when you were away, Christabel. Do you remember Christabel?
Of course. Gorgeous.
Is she Gen Z?
I don't know. She's just one of those bloody Gens. Not you, Jen. Not you, Jen. You're just Jen. She is Jen.
Anyway, Christabel sells things on something called Vestiaire. Vestiaire, which is like a posh...
I've just sent a box off to Vestiaire today.
Have you?
Yes,
well,
I have.
so did she. And guess what? It was to Courtney Love.
No.
Apparently she tried to barter it down.
Oh, my God, you cheap bitch. Jesus Christ. I hope she hangs on to that address because
What, you're going to stalk
could
her?
be worth money on the black market.
What, selling someone's address? That's not nice.
No, it's not nice.
Don't do
Oh,
that,
good for her.
Chris.
Do you know what? I have heard that Courtney buys things. What the hell was Chris selling? That Courtney Love wanted
She's got
it.
beautiful things. Beautiful.
Right.
She likes these designers that I've never heard of, like Selkie. And she wears things like medieval garb. She's even got a cone hat that a princess might wear. She's worn it to the pub.
Well, I wore a cone hat to someone's wedding once. Not even joking.
Was it a dress up?
It was a medieval themed wedding, and I made out of cardboard a cone hat and then covered it in navy blue silk
Lovely.
to match my navy blue
Frock?
dress. Yes, velvet dress.
Amazing.
But my sister, Steph, she stole the show because she was in a wench outfit and she looked gorgeous. I was so jealous of her dress.
How old were you guys? Were you like 8, 9?
Under 20.
Oh.
No, we weren't. I must have been, 19?
Wow.
We should have known better. And there was a punch up at this wedding.
Oh, God.
Where a guy I had met on a plane and had a very intense experience with because the plane almost crashed.
Oh, gosh.
He ended up at this wedding.
How?
My boyfriend at the time got very upset and they had a fight.
Oh.
Fisticuffs.
Did you invite the guy to the wedding?
He had been living with the bride and he ended up going to this wedding.
What?
And yes, fisticuffs.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, there was a lot of alcohol involved. But
I love this story.
I like to think that men were fighting over me.
They clearly were. Hey, telly-rec time. Let's talk about telly.
Okay.
What have you got?
Well, I started watching but couldn't be bothered finishing.
That sounds like a shit show.
It was an anti-rec, I guess, unless
Oh.
someone can tell me that it's worth continuing with.
All right.
It's got Kate Blanchett in it, the denominator,
What?
It wasn't good.
Is it where she's written a book and
Yes.
it comes back to haunt her? I've seen the ads. It looks appalling.
It's
Please write in and tell us if
shit.
it's worth it.
Honestly, I watched and I was like,
And who's her husband? Sacha Baron Cohen.
yes, and,
No,
and Kevin
no thanks.
Kline's in it as the psychopath. It's narrated.
Psychopath?
Well, yes.
You've just given the game away.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I only watched one episode and I was like, meow, meow. That's an anti-rec.
dear.
Another, I've got to get back to it, but jury's out on this. Jen and my sister thought it was great. A show called The Girlfriend.
Oh, I've seen that advertised. Looks good. Yes, I think I'm going to watch that.
I've watched the first episode. I'm not really a Robin Wright fan.
Oh, yes, she's the mother and then there's a daughter.
I think she's got a bit of a bitch face.
Who? Robin Wright?
Yes.
No.
Well, and actually, so does The Girlfriend. She's got a bit of a bitch face.
The girlfriend's got a bitch face. She's in the Game of Thrones prequel.
Speaking of which, oh my God, I didn't tell you this. You know how I've been
What?
going on about bloody Smiller's Sense of Snow?
Yes.
So, the girl that plays Smiller is the real life daughter of the Danish guy from Game of Thrones who plays
Oh, right, yes.
the dude. What's his name?
What's his bloody
I knew
name?
this, but I couldn't
The
remember.
one that has sex with his sister.
Yes, that's him. And she's very good in it.
Oh. All the recs are coming flying out in a very convoluted way. Apologies if you're trying to follow along.
I know.
I'll just tell you this. Jannica from Amsterdam recommends something called Drops of God. It's on Apple TV.
Seen it.
Have you? Well, why haven't you recommended it? It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I didn't recommend it because I thought it was quite niche.
It's about wine.
It's about wine. You know, I don't really like French things in general, although I do love champagne and French wine. I don't like French food and I don't generally like French television. I find it too over the top. But I could not take my eyes off the girl, the main girl in this. She is so stunningly beautiful. I love wine.
So it's a good night in with wine.
We were drinking away while we were watching it. But yes, good rec, Jannica.
Well, I've been watching Sandman.
If your vans are rocking, don't come a knocking.
Huh?
The Sandman panel van.
Oh, Right. Sorry, you had to bring me back in the room for a minute there. I didn't quite know what was going on.
And for anyone who's not Australian, a Sandman panel van is basically from the 80s.
Where you get fingered.
You get fingered. Watch Puberty Blues for more on that. That's what I would say.
God. But I'm talking about Sandman, the adaptation of the Neil Gaiman graphic novels or comics, which I had in the 90s and absolutely adored. They're very goth.
Okay.
I'm sure some of our gothic listeners will know about it. But unfortunately, I think I told you recently that there were some things that came out about Neil Gaiman which are a bit iffy.
Yes.
Yeah. And now, knowing that, I'm finding it difficult to watch because I remember the storylines. You know, I read these things over and over. I loved them. But now I'm thinking, ew, a little bit.
Yeah, now you're thinking, ew, because allegedly he likes young girls and does bad things
with his fans, yes. Sandman is pretty bad as well, I have to say. Also, if you haven't read the comics, then you probably don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right. So is it a rec or an anti-rec?
I'd say don't bother.
Okay, anti-rec.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more of a
Yes.
theme. I'm happy for an anti-rec because then I don't waste my time.
You can avoid it. But I will say, however, that it must be time, or coming up to time, for the next season of Slow Horses, and I
actually think it's out. Season 5.
Can't wait.
It's very exciting.
Exciting times. So, talking about Sandman and telling the future, which we weren't, but we are going to now because I want to talk about our story for this week, Michelle. We're going to have a little look at prophecies or fortune telling. And I just want to talk a little bit about prophecies to start with. In religion, mythology, even fiction, a prophecy is basically a message that's delivered to a chosen person. They are often called a prophet. And it's usually delivered with some kind of supernatural power. And you'll find prophecies popping up across loads of different cultures and belief systems. Usually, though, delivering warnings or secret knowledge about future events. They might come through visions or dreams or even face-to-face encounters with gods or otherworldly beings. And because they're such powerful stories, many prophecies have survived for centuries, passed down by word of mouth or written into sacred texts. Prophecy shows up in most major religions with superstar prophets like Muhammad, Jesus, Moses, and of course, someone we've covered before, Nostradamus.
Yes. In fact, I'm going to be talking about someone who calls themselves Nostradamus in heels.
Oh, exciting.
No.
The key difference, though, between prophecy and a psychic or a clairvoyant telling your fortune is that prophecy is supposed to come directly from God. Therefore, it's rooted in religion. And since I'm not religious, I'm more interested in the world of fortune tellers and mystics instead.
Me too. I love it.
So that's what I'm going to talk about. But for sure, those guys can also fall into what's called the Barnum effect, which is basically vague generalizations that feel so personal that they could easily apply to anyone. So it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
You know, anyone here got a mum? Oh, yes, right. So I think I've got a message for you, Michelle.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But still, it's fascinating stuff and it's a bit of fun to explore. So I had a route around Reddit and found some everyday people who have experienced future prediction and the outcomes. First of all, we have Way to Lose It. I love their names on Reddit. They're so unusual, aren't they?
Wasn't there one not Tall Hot Blonde? That was actually
that was an actual story about a scammer.
That was an actual story. We've had some good user handles on Reddit.
We have. So Way to Lose It says, and this is from 2 years ago, I was at a fair with a friend when I was around 14. There was a free psychic. My friend was really intent on being a musician and I wanted to be a famous actress, get married and have kids. The psychic told her that she would meet her husband in college and be a stay-at-home mum to 3 kids. The psychic told me I would be famous amongst a small group of people, but not for acting. That's alarm bells, isn't it?
Really?
Maybe it's for another video that you've accidentally sent to a boyfriend. No, I was thinking of something worse. Not worse than murder. How can it be worse than murder?
What, you mean like a
Sexy.
Pammy Anderson sex tape?
Sexy vid, yeah. So she said that financial wealth would always find me, which is nice to hear. She said I would marry late in life and have 2 sons, but pregnancy would be a struggle for me. We both decided she was full of it and disregarded what she said. I doubled down on dismissing her predictions, and when I got pregnant at 21, while on birth control and had an abortion, I clearly didn't have problems getting pregnant. Ignorant me conflated getting pregnant with pregnancy. My friend's future unfolds exactly as predicted. She married an entertainment lawyer. I own 3 businesses and work on referrals. I made some wise investments and went from being a homeless kid at 16 to being very successful. I met my husband at 37. We were determined to be child-free. I had been diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder that made keeping pregnancies almost impossible at around age 34. So having kids was something I considered to be impossible, even if I wanted them. I discovered I was pregnant at 39 and was able to successfully carry my son to term. My husband and I had our second when I was 43. All her predictions came true.
I have some thoughts on this.
Thoughts? Yes, let's hear them.
What she said was not vague. So what you had said before about, oh, yes, you know, a mum who's got a mum.
Yeah.
This woman was very specific.
She was reasonably specific, I would say. However, that was when she was 14. How much of that was rewritten in her mind?
Yeah, look, she may have rewritten history to fit the narrative of, hey, this psychic predicted everything. And, you know, I've spoken before on the podcast about some awful situations I've had where I went to a fair in Bateman's Bay with my sister.
Yes.
And they wouldn't take my reading. No, there's no future for you. And it's like, fuck you. Oh my God.
I was there for the aftermath of that.
Oh,
the
crying.
tears.
Crying. Like, what, am I going to get hit by a bus now?
Tonight?
So that, you know, you do have to take some of them with a pinch of salt. I also was told by the very same psychic that Courtney Love.
Her again?
Yes, I know, it's Courtney Love episode. This psychic told Courtney Love in Australia, no wonder your husband killed himself.
Oh my God, that's not very nice.
No, but this woman said, I was going to marry a guy with floppy dark hair whose name sounded like Black.
Oh.
I thought I was going to be marrying my first boyfriend. Well, that didn't fucking happen. So these people full of shit sometimes. Maybe sometimes not. What do you think?
Well, jury's out.
I will tell you, I think I've said this on the podcast before. My sister and I went to palm readers.
Yeah.
One palm reader. She told my sister, she looked at her palm and said, you are just going to have a smooth, easy life. You're going to meet a nice guy. You're going to have a family. You're going to have kids and a nice house. That's your life. She looked at mine and she went, oh, whoa.
Oh,
okay.
God.
She said, your life is all over the place. You're going to travel. You're going to do this and blah, blah, blah. And I said, what about kids and family? She wouldn't really answer.
Right.
So I don't know. It's exactly what happened. You know, I had this crazy life and my sister had a very lovely, solid, amazing life, but exactly what she said. So is there something in it?
Is there? It's hard to know, isn't it? Whether you're reading into it. Yeah, I was told I wasn't going to have any kids and I was going to die young by this guy who was he was our substitute teacher. I was 16. I had just found out my grandmother had died and he was our substitute drama teacher at college. And he read that for me and I was like,
Fuck you.
How could this day get worse?
I mean, that's a really horrible thing to say.
Isn't
You're going to die young.
He said,
childless.
Stay pretty. He said, die young, stay pretty. And I was like, wow.
Oh my God,
What is going on here?
Jesus.
Anywho, back to Odd Artist, again from 2 years ago. They say, I worked with someone who read objects. One New Year's Eve, I handed her a ring I wore to read. She held it in her fingers and told me all she could see was grape jelly. Grape jelly everywhere was how she put it. I'm not a jelly fan. I prefer jams and preserves. So we had a laugh and I headed out to a friend's party. I had a bit to drink, so I crashed on an empty bed. I get up, I go to the kitchen to get some coffee or water, only to find grape jelly everywhere. Someone dropped a full jar at some point and I did a drunken half-assed cleaning. It was on the counter, floors, walls, ceiling. That's the end of that particular one.
Can I say this terrible psychic who said I'd marry my ex-boyfriend and who said Courtney Love horrible things to her. Anyway, she read rings. I gave her a ring to read,
right,
and that's what she was reading, was my ring.
Okay. Well, she's nasty. Don't go and see her again. She sounds like a mean girl. Now I'm going to move away from Reddit and their silly little like grape jelly on the wall. This is the shocker. Much like Nostradamus, it's an old, blind Bulgarian lady called Baba Vanga. Pretty sure we haven't talked about her before, and I don't know how we've missed her. She's quite simply the prophet of doom, Michelle.
Oh, she sounds like a hoosh.
I'm going to try and bookend it with fun things, but quite simply, it's quite distressing, and especially her 2025 predictions.
Lay it on me.
She died in 1996, by the way, but she managed to leave behind a legacy of chilling predictions that have an unsettling habit of coming true. Her track record is unnerving, to say the least. First up, it said she predicted September 11. Most people have. You've heard this before, Nostradamus as well, obviously decades before they happened. She said she saw the devastating 2004 tsunami that claimed hundreds of thousands of lives and even called Barack Obama's rise to the presidency. She claims her visions come to her in dreams. And here's her 2025 insomnia-inducing predictions.
You're making me worried.
I know, it's not very nice. Because obviously it's a bit of a rocky world at the moment, so it's not nice to hear this. So I am sorry if this is going to give people nightmares, but just remember, it's just an old blind lady. Don't worry.
Blind Freddy knew that blind man can see.
You'll love this one, Michelle. She claimed aliens would finally reveal themselves to humanity in 2025. And given the recent disclosures in military UFO encounters, that prediction doesn't seem as far-fetched as it once did.
No, it does not. Interesting. Thanks, Baba.
She also foresaw the development of human telepathy, which sounds like science fiction. But didn't we already cover the telepathy tapes and the ability for non-speaking autists to communicate on the hill?
Yes.
And earlier this year, there was also a story of an Elon Musk startup inventing a brain-computer interface, or BCI, which works by detecting the tiny electrical impulses generated when humans think about moving and translating these into digital command, such as moving a cursor on a screen. I don't really understand that.
We did talk about that earlier this year. It's scary. Scary stuff, people.
Also, lab-grown organs, which were another prediction, something that's rapidly becoming medical reality as scientists make breakthrough after breakthrough in tissue engineering.
Fuck. She's good.
Well, let's hope not. She had oddly specific sports predictions. She apparently tipped Lewis Hamilton for major success this year, although his rocky start with Ferrari suggests even prophets can have off days. I don't really know what's going on with him, to be fair.
No, me either.
Who cares, is what I would say.
I did meet Sebastian Vettel.
Who's he?
The youngest F1 champion from Germany. He came into the restaurant, ate with us, sent us a beautiful letter afterwards saying how much he loved the meal. It was amazing.
Fantastic.
Well, I didn't know who he was until I realised there were all these people standing at our window looking in, taking photos.
Oh, no.
And I was like, what the hell?
Oh. Well, okay, that's all the fun that we're having for the moment, because here's where Vanga's vision takes a dark turn. She didn't just predict technological marvels or alien contact. She saw war.
Okay.
These are her words. In the spring, a war in the East will begin, and there will be a Third World War. A war in the East that will destroy the West. She went further, claiming Putin would become lord of the world and that Europe would be left a wasteland. Russia, she said, wouldn't just survive, it would dominate everything.
Fuck, man. Okay, Baba, I hate this fucking prediction.
Shut up now. Well, currently, it does actually seem perfectly set for exactly what she described, unfortunately. We've got ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine that shows no sign of ending. Tensions are escalating across multiple fronts, as you know, Middle East, South China Sea, and even unexpected shocking news such as the recent drone incidents over Poland and Estonia.
Yeah. I'm so happy living in the middle of nowhere on top of a mountain.
Well, you're still in Europe, babes. Sorry to break it to you.
I know.
But despite diplomatic effort, ceasefire talks remain stalled and the rhetoric is getting more heated, not less. And the weapons being discussed aren't the conventional kind that defined previous world wars, is what she said. So was Baba Vanga a genuine prophet, or are we just seeing patterns in current events to match old predictions, is what I have said before about Nostradamus. And I'll say it about Baba Vanga as well.
Yes, look, these things are cyclic, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But what's worrying about Baba's predictions is that they are very specific. These aren't vague.
Again, are they though?
I would say so.
She hasn't said, I don't think she said Putin, actually said Putin was going to be the guy.
Okay.
I don't think she said his name.
Okay.
But all signs pointed that way, I think. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back to my sources. You'll have to put them in the links, Michelle.
I will.
For people to calm their minds. But I would say, don't worry about something if it hasn't happened yet. Put it in your circle of control.
Yes.
Don't worry about things, okay? So that's no fun, talking about Baba Vanga.
No.
So let's talk about something a bit lighter from last year. involving a fortune teller, a mayor, and a dead father's voice.
Okay.
We're going to the French Mediterranean town of Agde near Montpellier, which is famous for two things: beautiful beaches and Europe's biggest swinger community.
Oh my God. A lot of pineapples in the windows or whatever they do.
Or pampas grass out the front. So it made headlines in 2023 for an entirely different scandal. It entails Gilles de Torre, the town's mayor and former Secret Service officer, and a lady called Sofia Martinez, a local fortune teller who claimed she could speak to the dead. And it all started when the grieving mayor asked Martinez to contact his dead father. So she did. Or that's what he thought. During the various seances that they would hold together, her voice would mysteriously change, and to the mayor, it sounded similar in tone to his dead father. Sophia was regularly impersonating his father, who died in 1996, both in person and over the phone, and this carried on for 4 years.
What?
She's talented. This talented fortune teller allegedly used her remarkable ventriloquist skills to manipulate the mayor through thousands of phone calls from voices of the dead, and she even threw in a few angels to boot.
How much was she charging per call?
Well, it wasn't just her charges, Michelle. She also used the mayor's dead family to convince him to fund lavish holidays to Polynesia and Thailand for her and her family, all with taxpayers' money.
Master manipulator. Here we go.
Apparently, the voices would implore the mayor to protect Sophia, take care of her and her people.
Fucking hell.
They also suggested he hire several of her relatives to work for the town council and renovate her home using local contractors who did the work for free, with the threat of losing future city contracts if they refused.
This woman's an evil bitch. My God.
So naughty.
Oh.
Then it all went south in 2024 when the mayor's estranged wife raised the alarm, saying that de Torre had been bewitched by the medium into embezzling council funds. So the police set up wire traps and were amazed by her ventriloquist skills. She proudly, when she got caught, agreed to demonstrate these during her interrogation, which was filmed and then had to be shown to de Torre to prove that he was being duped.
Oh my God. You would feel like such an idiot, wouldn't you?
A little bit.
No, but it's like people who get catfished and then they're shown the girl that you've sent all your life savings to doesn't exist. It's actually a guy in Nigeria who's actually like part of a ring of 25 people, and they're all texting you and they're like, okay. And then a week later they're sending money. They're like, don't believe, I am real. Don't believe them. Don't believe the police. And then they're sending money again. They don't want to believe the truth.
Well, Martinez eventually faced embezzlement charges and de Torre was accused of corruption. His lawyer called it manipulation of a mental weakness, while her lawyer insists she genuinely had mystical powers and pointed to other clients who swore up and down she had revealed impossible details about their lives. But locals in this sexually liberated town think they know what really happened, that they were at it like rabbits, but that's alleged.
Allegedly.
Unfortunately, though, for Martinez, she had to be moved whilst in prison to solitary confinement after being assaulted in prison by inmates who accused her of witchcraft. And as for the mayor, his political opponents called for his resignation,
of course,
saying he'd made a mockery of this already mocked town.
Yeah, well, he kind of did. If you can get sucked in by a little ventriloquist dummy or whatever.
Give me all your money. Got look here.
Shouldn't really be running the town. And he's embezzling for her. Oh,
naughty.
Well, thank you for those stories, Geordie.
My pleasure. I'm sorry about the Baba Vanga one. Yeah, that's a bit distressing.
Yeah, but I mean, let's just hope 2025 just keeps on keeping on.
Staying alive in 2025. Eavesdroppin', dropping like it's hot. Ooh, eavesdropping, drop it like it's hot.
The market's uncertain, revenue's tight, and hiring on hold. That's why results-driven companies are using Upwork to keep work moving. Go to Upwork.com today and start hiring proven freelance talent fast. No bulky overhead. No rigid long-term contracts. Just the right expert right when you need them. Work smarter and faster with Upwork. Go to Upwork.com now and find your freelance expert. That's UPWORK.com. Post a job for free and get started today.
If you're a Chicago business looking to give back locally, Gardeneers is your kind of nonprofit. We work in under-resourced schools across the South and West Sides, helping students grow fresh food and learn about health, sustainability, and equity. Your corporate sponsorship supports hands-on education, youth mentorship, and the transformation of school gardens into vibrant green spaces. Learn more about sponsorship opportunities at gardeneers.org and let's grow something together.
So I decided to look at some dodgy psychic twins.
Oh, I love that.
They actually call themselves the Psychic Twins.
Not the dodgy psychic
No, not
twins.
No.
The dodgy sisters. Come on down.
But maybe I shouldn't be so hard on them because these bitches have got to make a living. But having looked at psychic frauds before, I just get the feeling that these two twins are in it for the money. Honey.
Tell us all about it, Mish.
So I'm just going to look at these glamour bags that are the Psychic Twins, Linda and Terry Jamison. They've got a Wikipedia page, and according to their Wikipedia page, they're the identical twins. They're identical.
Can't tell them apart.
No, they were born on January 12, 1955, grew up in the small town of Westchester in Pennsylvania, and according to Linda, they had their own twin language when they were 3.
Oh.
And she says, quote, "We were so much alike and we just kind of connected telepathically." The twins reckon that they were telepathic in the womb.
Oh, wow.
And that they thought the same thoughts and dreamed the same dreams.
Isn't that a song? We thought the same thoughts, we dreamed the same dreams, baby. I think it's someone like Belinda Carlisle.
Yeah, look, it could have been, but it sounded like you were singing Cruel to Be Kind. I don't know what you were just singing.
Well, I clearly did a bad job then, didn't I?
This article I read, Terry had said about being psychic ever since they were young. She said, quote, "When we were about 5 years old, we went into our school fair and they had a big jar of jelly beans and I knew exactly how many were in the jar and I won a prize."
Well, that is a fucking talent. That is a talent in itself. I always wanted to know. I wanted to win that prize.
Well, she said, "It was my first big prize. I think the only prize I ever got for being psychic, but I absolutely knew how many beans were in the jar. It was not just a guess." And to that, Geordie, I say, Jen, if you are listening, do you remember I won the jelly bean jar guessing competition at the Hall Primary School Fair? So does that mean I'm psychic?
Lucky bitch. Maybe. I don't think you are. I think you'd know if you were.
I think I'd know if I was psychic. But what I mean is, I don't necessarily think you need to be psychic to win the fucking jelly bean jar competition.
Yeah. It's not really the kind of the height of...
It's not the benchmark of being
No.
psychic. But by the time Linda and Terry hit their teens, they said everything that they experienced was mirrored. So if Linda had a pain in her ankle, Terry said she could feel it in her ankle.
Yeah,
and if
that's
Terry
fair.
had a nightmare, Linda would dream the same nightmare on the same
Got it.
night. They were sick all the way through high school because they said they were so physically tied to each other's states of mind and body that the illness was basically doubled.
Oh, dear.
As Terry once put it, she said everything was identical. And their dad, Phil, once said, "These twins of mine are like one person."
They probably had their period at the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure they had double rags. But Linda and Terry reckon that not only can they read each other's minds, they also reckon they can see into the future. And they call this special power twintuition.
I thought it was going to be like the actual word for it.
No,
Like
twintuition.
cogniscience or something, but it's twintuition.
No, that's actually, I know what you're saying because I talk about it down the line. But
Okay.
it's called a cryptophasia.
Okay.
Well, that's actually like when you speak a language.
Oh, well, get it right, Michelle, for God's sake. What are you trying to say here?
It's pretty cheesy to call it twintuition.
Yeah.
And I think these two are quite cheesy. And I think they always wanted to be famous because after they finished college, they ended up in New York City. And that's when they reinvented themselves as performance artists with names like the Glamazons and the Pointed Sisters.
The pointed.
Not the Pointer Sisters, but the Pointed Sisters.
I don't get that. I don't get that quip.
I don't get it either. And they loved an 80s costume, and they loved a bit of 80s makeup.
Who doesn't?
I know. I mean, a blue eyeshadow eyelid. Who doesn't love that? And a blue eyeliner pencil. They loved playing up the whole identical twin thing. They did everything together. They lived together. They interrupted each other mid-sentence.
That's annoying.
By all accounts, they were hustlers. They wanted to make it big.
They're grifters.
They were grifters. And they did get a little break when they got cast on Saturday Night Live as the two-headed housewife.
Ah.
And I will pop a little clip of that on Patreon because they look fucking fantastic, but it's not that funny.
Oh.
If you're not on Patreon, you won't know. So get on there. I don't think they were paying the bills with that money because they were just doing bit parts. So in 2003, they reinvented themselves, had a career pivot, moved to LA and rebranded themselves as the Psychic Twins. And they started doing readings for money. And I'm not talking like $30 for a reading. They were charging $500 a pop to sit with them.
Golly.
In 2003.
Ha!
That's big fucking money.
Yes.
They also claim that they receive messages from dead people.
Uh-huh.
And the way it happens is their bodies are possessed by ghosts who take control of their hands and write down messages for the living.
No, thank you.
Which is basically automatic writing.
Right.
But put in a like scary way.
Wonder how Tyler Henry's doing, by the way. That just made me think of Tyler Henry. He had a brain tumour, didn't he?
Yes, it was just from all that possession, I guess. But automatic writing's not new. You know, we've talked a lot about this in spiritualist circles from the 19th century. But, you know, Linda and Terry put their own spin on it, saying their twintuition combined with messages from ghosts and spirit guides allowed them to predict world events. And this is where their biggest claim comes in. They said, well, there's a few of them actually. They said they predicted 2 stock market crashes. They said they foresaw tornadoes and floods in the Midwest. They say that they correctly predicted both George W. Bush's election and re-election. They also reckon they said in 1999 that they wrote down the exact details of the September 11 attacks, including planes crashing into the World Trade Center and a simultaneous strike on the Pentagon.
Everybody's predicted that.
Yes, but these twins have built a lucrative career on September 11. But I did a little digging, i.e. I went to Wikipedia, and that's where it says about the whole 9/11 terrorist attack. So they say they predicted it all.
Yeah.
And that they revealed it during an interview on November 2nd, 1999 on the Art Bell radio show. Don't know what that is.
I do. We've talked about this before. Art Bell, he does a lot of supernatural stuff.
Right.
I have talked about him recently.
Oh, okay. Well, they went on his show, apparently, November 2, 1999. That's where they made all their super accurate predictions.
Yeah.
But if you read the show transcripts,
Yeah.
I have not done this. I'm relying on Wikipedia here. Apparently, their actual statement was, quote, "We are seeing terrorist attacks on federal buildings, particularly South Carolina or Georgia, by July 2002, and also the New York Trade Center, the World Trade Center in 2002. Now, as we all know, September 11, those attacks happened in 2001 and not 2002. And apparently it was common knowledge that the buildings, the World Trade Center, had been attacked previously. In 1993, there was a World Trade Center bombing. So, as you mentioned before, Geordie, they're talking about patterns here. So, clearly they did not actually predict the terrorist attack. But good PR will get you everywhere, and they built a career on that.
Yeah.
Because they just changed the narrative, flipped the script. And also, according to Leon Jaroff in Time magazine, he pointed out that Linda and Terry also incorrectly predicted that Saddam Hussein would be killed by US troops in early 2004. He died in 2006.
Okay. Well, they're a couple of years out. Depends when they made these predictions, isn't it? If it was looking likely.
That is, it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's all right.
And they also said Pope John Paul II would die in June 2004. He died in April 2005. So I feel like it's nice try, no banana here. But the thing with these ladies is that none of these crappy false predictions harmed their career. And they continue to make money from being these glamorous psychic twins.
Well, they were glamorous. Exactly. That's what you want to see, isn't it?
I know. They're on TV shows. They've cultivated this loyal following. They've published books. They're TikTok wannabes. They've got, identical flaming red hair. They've got all the makeup. They push this fancy content with a lot of filters, wearing matching outfits, and they're getting likes. But they have said in the past that they would never use their psychic gifts for personal gain.
Right.
And they've said, we don't buy stocks, we don't gamble, because apparently we were taught if you do that and become wealthy, you lose your gift. And Linda has said the gift is for other people. But if that's actually true, Linda, you're charging $500 an hour for automatic writing, And they've also been in the newspapers over the years. In December 2017, they did an interview with the Mirror, and I saw this on the Irish Mirror, where they gave some predictions about Meghan and Harry that were supposedly given to them from Diana.
Oh.
They said Diana wants to tell Meghan.
She's coming through.
Diana's coming through. This is for you, Meghan. Diana says,
hands off my ring.
Harry may struggle with monogamy. And Diana apparently also said, as another message to Meghan, he's very sensitive and a bit of a rebel, but you two are a joy to see and many will embrace you and love you.
Oh,
People fucking hate Meghan. They fucking hate her. And with the benefit of hindsight, I've got to call bullshit on this because as we all know, when it comes to Harry and Meghan, cheating hasn't even come into this. Now, if these so-called psychic twins really did have a line to Diana, why aren't they telling us something juicy like Harry and Meghan would step away from their duties as senior royals? That's big fucking stuff.
Yeah, that's juicy.
That's juicy.
Or tell us, Diana, tell us what happened to you.
I know. And why didn't you ask, you stupid bloody twins? Why didn't you ask what really happened? So, ladies, what the hell? I just think, like you had said earlier, they love to keep things vague, saying things like, oh, there'll be a natural disaster in the Midwest in the 2010s. And then if something happens...
Have they looked at the weather patterns?
Yeah. But if something happens in 2013, is that proof? I think, fuck no.
So you're a stickler for detail, you are, Michelle.
I just think they're hustlers and they did a little rebrand. And look, if you're looking to them as entertainers... fantastic. Go, girls.
Enjoy the show.
Exactly. Enjoy the show. Bullshit. But Geordie, I'm kind of actually maybe going to dedicate my little segment today to two of our favourite twins, the Beacon twins.
Oh.
Our twinnies. They're our very own twinnies. Because I'm going to move now onto a pair of Aussie twins.
Okay.
Known as the Twinnies. They are known as the Twinnies. And they went viral in April this year after they gave an interview to Channel 7 about their mums, their elderly mums, attempted carjacking in Queensland.
Oh, God. Poor mum.
I know, poor old mum. But to be honest, I watched this clip and it is fucking mad. So you have these two women in their 50s and they are dressed in matching Easter Bunny shirts.
Oh, God.
And they are speaking almost in unison.
Oh, no.
About what happened to their mum. But to be honest, Geordie, I didn't even really hear a thing that they were saying because I was so distracted by the fact that this whole speaking in unison, unrehearsed, it was so bizarre. It was not put on.
It sounds like a comedy sketch.
It really does. But they were really speaking in unison, but in a way that sometimes it would lag by just a fraction of a second between
that's just
them.
Bizarre.
And I just thought, oh, who the fuck are these?
It's a bit like us when we do the
wherever you are, just keep eavesdropping. Yes, there you go. Imagine that, but talking about their mum's carjacking. So I just thought, who are these women? I'm going to do a little digging. And it turns out these women are just magical. So their names are Paula and Bridget Powers. They were born in 1974 on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. And if you'd seen them as toddlers, you would have struggled to tell them apart because they are properly identical, even as babies. And I've seen photos of them as babies. To the point where their mum and dad, Helen and John, they kept those hospital wristbands on until they fell off because they couldn't tell their girls apart.
God.
Helen and John knew early on something was not quite right with the girls. And actually, Helen said in her heart she knew that they were different. There were countless hospital visits and no doctor could figure out what was wrong with Paula and Bridget. And it turns out the girls had developmental problems, which meant they didn't walk or talk when other kids were walking and talking. Their bodies were really floppy. It was just, they had a lot of physical and sort of emotional problems. They weren't hitting the markers that other kids hit. And a series of hospital investigations finally reveals that the twins were actually really sick.
Oh, dear.
They had severe heart problems and anomalies.
Ooh.
They had absolutely devastating osteoporosis and stomach issues, which meant...
Oh, the poor girls.
I know. And these kids were in and out of hospital their whole lives. And as kids, they basically had the bones of an 80-year-old.
Oh, no.
So as you can imagine, you've got these two twins. They've got speech problems. They're sickly. They're hardly in school. They're really quirky. And when they were in school, they were just mercilessly bullied.
Oh, I bet.
And they really only had each other to rely on. And they became really kind of insular. And even though they were raised along their 6 other siblings...
Shit.
Sorry?
Shit.
Fit?
Shit.
Oh, shit. Shit. I thought you said fit. I'm like, oh, what?
No.
Yeah, there were 8 kids. She was an octomum. Even though they had all these other kids... Paula and Bridget just developed their own private language, which was this kind of shorthand to each other. And everyone else thought it sounded like gibberish, but to them, they were having fluent conversations. And over time, it morphed into this kind of twin connection, a little bit like what I said to you before. Psychologists call it cryptophasia, which in Greek means secret speech. But the twins describe it as a kind of telepathy. And when you see the clips of them speaking, you can really see that they are both tuned into something between them. It's not finishing each other's sentences. They are spontaneously speaking together.
Yeah, this sounds a little like what we talked about, the telepathy tapes and being on the hill for the autists, you know, being able to go somewhere else in their mind for the non-verbal autistic people.
I mean, it's a little bit even more than that because...
Accessing another part of your brain.
Yes, maybe that's it. Because when they were at school, the teachers would separate them during tests because they thought the girls were cheating because their answers were identical. And not just the answers, but the precise wording was identical, as if they, like you said, were tuned into the same frequency, the same channel. Like those other psychic twins, if one of them had a pain in their leg or whatever, the other would feel it as well. And this sense of shared experience continued right through adolescence when they both became chronically ill and they had to drop out of high school in year 10. Didn't even finish.
Oh.
Since that day, well, since their whole life, they've never spent a day apart. They've always lived together in the same room and still do.
Oh, God.
They're in their 50s. They dress the same. They have the same hair. They've never had boyfriends and don't want them because they don't have time, they say. Back when they were still teenagers and their health was fucked and they were basically high school dropouts, their parents were like at their wits' end and they were like, right, let's get them into, you know, some creativity here.
Yeah.
And the twins loved it. They loved costumes. They loved putting on matching outfits. And it's probably one of the things that made them stand out on the beach the day that they met Aussie wildlife legend Steve Irwin. So this was sometime in the mid-90s, I think. There was a green sea turtle that was stranded on the sand at a beach near where they lived in Queensland.
Yeah.
It was dehydrated and it was in distress. Paula and Bridget, without any kind of rescue knowledge, went right up to it. They put seaweed on it to keep it wet.
Oh.
They somehow calmed this sea turtle and just had this intuition with this sea turtle.
That's beautiful.
It was incredible. When Steve rocked up in his little khaki shorts and managed to actually take over and save that sea turtle.
Yeah. Well, he took the glory. They'd done the hard work.
Well, he saw something really special in these two slightly odd twins. And he could see that they had such tenderness and determination towards saving that sea turtle that on the spot he offered them both a job at the Australia Zoo, which is the zoo that he had.
Yeah.
And working with Steve Irwin was the big turning point in the lives of those twins.
Wow.
Because it then gave them practical training and it gave them this kind of legitimacy that they had never had before. Because these girls, they did not look like other girls.
Yeah.
They didn't talk like other girls their age. And that job basically became the foundation for what would become their life's work and passion. So, after quite a few years working at the zoo, the twins branched out and in the late 1990s, they set up their own rescue operation called Twinnies, Pelican and Seabird Rescue.
Doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but
Not really,
it's
but...
like twin tuition, but it's okay. It'll do.
But at least they're doing something fucking real, you know.
Yeah.
They had this bit of land in Landsborough, which apparently is not far from the Irwins' land.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, they dedicated their lives to saving seabirds. And they took in pelicans with fishing lines wrapped around their beaks and cormorants with broken wings and even kookaburras that had been poisoned.
Oh, shit.
And they built up this reputation as the go-to kind of rehab centre for complicated cases that other places wouldn't touch.
Right.
And over the years, they have helped literally thousands of birds. And they've done it with a mix of kind of hands-on knowledge and caring and what people around them call magic. Because somehow they just connect with these birds and they just have this instinctive knowing about what the animal needs to get better.
That's incredible.
I think in a way it sounds like they are medical intuitives for animals.
They're empaths.
And I think that they are amazing. And what they do, it's not fancy. You know, they have set up this sanctuary. It's really kind of humble, you know, like these very simple bird pens and pools. And they've cobbled together this kind of bird ICU emergency with, you know, whatever bits of equipment and donations that they can scrape up. But the stories that come out of that sanctuary and rehab clinic are extraordinary. And volunteers talk about how Paula and Bridget will feed these little pelican chicks by hand every 2 hours through the night, or they'll rig up a sling to keep a bird's wing at just the right angle.
Amazing.
Or they'll get a leaf blower and blow it at this half-recovered bird to try and get it to exercise its wings. You know, all these little weird things that
they just know what to do.
Yeah. And apparently there are many vets who say that the Twinnies can diagnose a condition in minutes without a single test. Oh, wow. So they've got something going on. And they do it all speaking in unison. Really. And they dress in the same T-shirts and shorts. Oh, God. And what I find amazing and kind of sad, actually, is that unlike the psychic twins who just want to be TikTokers, these women are the real deal, and they just want to use their skills to help animals, not themselves. And apparently they don't get a lot of funding. They've got nothing from the government, so they rely on donations. And apparently in 2023 and again in 2025, the Twinnies Pelican and Seabird Rescue was on the brink of collapse, and they had to launch a GoFundMe just to keep the doors open. And there's this really beautiful Australian story segment on them. And for our non-Australian listeners, the ABC, which is the Australian Broadcasting Commission, they have a show called Australian Story where they profile real Aussies who do real things. And the Twinnies were in a segment called Birds of a Feather. And I will link to that on Patreon because it's gorgeous. So they have had a little bit of publicity over the year. But the most recent was the one I mentioned earlier. The viral news story of them from April this year when they gave that interview to 7 News after a carjacking, ironically, on Steve Irwin Way.
Right.
When their elderly mum had a terrifying run-in with an armed man. Oh. And like I said, this footage went viral not because of the crime, but because of them.
Them, of course.
They're a sweet double act because they were like, they said, you have to hear it to understand it.
I need to hear it.
They say things like, the interviewer is asking them, so what happened? They say things in unison like, well, this guy, he came at Mum with a gun and we both went, oh my God. And it really, it's just crazy, this kind of sweet double act.
See it.
You need to see it. And they did it, like I said, matching outfits, Easter Bunny shirts.
What?
Identical hair. And of course, the thing is, it got picked up. And it's kind of mean, but it did turn them into a bit of a meme. Right. Because internationally, people were like, what the fuck? Jimmy Kimmel did a segment. It was all over TikTok, apparently. Twitter, unfortunately, mocked it.
Oh.
And it was a bit cruel, actually, because a lot of people were just mean about them.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, it did bring people to the seabird rescue. And there were lots of donations.
No publicity is bad publicity and all that. Exactly. Lots of lovely donations. I hope their mum was all right, though, Michelle. I am concerned.
Yes, the mum was okay. So they said something like, and so Mum went up to him because he hurt his hand with the gun and she said, are you all right? And he said, I've got a gun. And she said, hey, I'm just trying to help. And he said, back off or I'll shoot you. Mum said, look over there. And she ran. And it's honestly, it's like amazing. And I got to say, these women are fucking heroes because they have heart issues. They have the bones of an 80-year-old. They have chronic pain, and yet they have dedicated their life to those seabirds. So please check out the Twinnies.
Check out the Twinnies. Give them some love. They sound amazing. And Michelle, I love you. I love what you've just told us. Much more interesting and more heartwarming than my Baba Vanga story. So thank you.
My pleasure. Let's just hope Baba Vanga was speaking out her proverbial ass.
I hope so. But I have to also give a little shout out, just as you've done to the Beacon Twins, I have to give a little shout out to Tamira, the modern mystic, who wanted me to cover a story on prophecy. And it was something to do with a lady who was on Oprah Winfrey, and I got distracted and went a different direction. So apologies, Tamira. But what we will do, Tamira, is get you on again, maybe for the Patreon. Tell us some of your prophecies, because not prophecies, but some of her predictions, because she's a mystic and she has predicted things and they have been eerily accurate.
Yes, she's good, isn't she?
I trust her. Come on, Tamira, send us a voice note. We miss you.
And with that, Geordie, I think
it's time to talk in unison.
Yes. And I'm going to say there's only 3 things left to say. Wherever you are, whatever you do, just keep eavesdropping. 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 Dropping. Eavesdropping. Dropping. Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping. Dropping. Dropping. Eavesdropping. Eavesdropping all day long. Eavesdropping, this is the song. Drop it like it's hot.
In too many Chicago neighborhoods, access to fresh food is a luxury, not a given. Gardeneers is working to change that by supporting school garden programs that empower students to grow their own produce, learn about nutrition, and fight back against systemic food injustice. These aren't just gardens. They're pathways to health, education, and equity. Learn how you can help at Gardeneers.org. Let's grow food justice in Chicago together.